Good day, folks. Today I'm going to be showing you the game Roll Through the Ages, the Bronze Age. Object of the game is you're going to be trying to score the most points by the time the game ends. And the way you're going to be getting points is you're going to be you're going to be trying to build these little developments, these monuments, and you're also going to be trying to avoid getting any kind of disasters. And so, generally, the way that works is you're going to have these little pegboards over here, and each person is going to start off with 3 food. And you're also going to start off with 3 cities. Since you have 3 cities, each city is going to be required to take 1 food in. So, since you're starting with 3 cities, you're going to have at least 3 food in order to feed each of the cities. If you're unable to feed the cities, you're going to mark off each city that you cannot feed in the disaster area, which is going to eventually count against you. These here are your goods, and you've got several. You got wood, you got stone, you got pottery, you have clay, and then you have your spearheads over here. And throughout the game, you're going to be getting these, and you're going to be using the point values on these to try to build your developments. And so right here we have the dice. There's several of these, and you're going to roll an amount of dice that equals the amount of cities that you have. And in some cases, you may roll extra if you're able to develop something that will allow you to roll the extra dice. This is the coin. The coin is basically worth 7 points. These do not carry over from round to round. You'll only be able to use it during your turn. This here is what is called workers, and these are 3 workers. So anytime you have a worker, you'll be able to build your city. So if I had this showing, I could go ahead and mark these 3 off and add an extra city to myself. This is a good. Anytime you roll a good, you're going to you're going to add a good to the board, and it's going to start at wood and then work its way up like so. So if I had 2 goods on my dice, I would move this up 1 and then this up 1, which would give me a total of 3 points that I could use to try to build some things. This is food. This counts as 3 foods, and this, of course, you're going to be using to feed your cities with. This here counts as goods and skull. Now, this will give you 2 goods, but then you're going to also have a skull. Now, throughout the game, you're going to be able to roll the dice 3 times, and if you get a skull, you're going to basically set it aside, and it's going to end up probably counting against you, but if you end up rolling a certain amount of skulls, it'll actually count against your opponent. So this is 2 goods and 1 skull. And then you have this where it splits 2 foods and 2 workers. If you end up keeping this, you'll either be able to keep the food or the workers, but you're not going to be able to keep both. You're just going to have to keep one of them. Okay, so in the order of play, here's what you're going to be doing. You're going to roll the dice, and you're going to collect the food and the goods. And again, you'll be able to roll these up to 3 times to see what you can get. And again, if you get a skull, you're going to put that to the side. That's the first thing you're going to do. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to feed your cities. If you have any food dice left over, you're going to add that here to your food total. And then what you're going to do is you're going to feed the amount of cities that you have. So in the beginning of the game, you're going to have 3 cities. So then you will go ahead and just go 1, 2, 3. You'll just move that back to feed your cities. The next thing you'll do is you'll build cities or monuments. So you'll be using the coins and or the points on the pegboard to build your developments. For your monuments, you will use your workers. For example, if I wanted to build leadership, which would help me re-roll a die after my last roll, I would just simply have to spend 10 points. So if throughout the game I ended up having, like, say, 3 here, 6 here, and another 3 here, this would count as 12 points. So then I could go ahead and just spend these to go ahead and purchase my leadership, and I would go ahead and cross that out. And then I would go ahead and have the effect throughout the rest of the game. And there's a whole bunch of these. There's irrigation, agriculture. So you just simply spend this amount of money to get these, and then you will get the effect throughout the rest of the game. Now, I'm only going to be able to buy 1 of these developments during a turn. I can't buy 2. As far as cities go, if you want to build a city, you're going to be using workers for that. And if you end up, let's say I went ahead and got these 3 workers, I would just go ahead and fill in a block for each worker I have here on the die, and then I would circle this. This would allow me to roll 4 dice as opposed to 3. However, I'm going to have to spend an extra food to feed this extra city. Now, if I want to build a monument, this is going to count towards points towards the end of the game. And the way you would end up doing that is, again, with the workers. So let's say I ended up having 6 workers here. I could go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to use 3 workers to build this. And if I'm the first one to do it, I'm going to go ahead and circle this. This is going to be points that are going to count towards the rest of the game. And another turn, if I could go ahead and just fill these in. Again, I have 6 workers, so let's say I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can go ahead and cross this off. And then if I were to get another worker, I would go ahead and cross this off. And if I was the first one, I would go ahead and score these 4 points. Now, the other thing you have to note is you're going to be discarding goods in excess of 6. Now, each of these icons represents 1 good. So if I had, this would count technically as 3 goods, this would count as 5 goods, and let's say if I had this, I would have to end up discarding one of these goods in order to keep it under 6. So let's just say I would do that. That would keep it at 6. Okay, so let me go ahead and just do a little bit of a rolling here just to show you how it works. Again, I'm going to start with 3 dice. I'm going to go ahead and roll. And right now I've rolled 2 goods and I've rolled 3 workers. So that's pretty good. So let's just go ahead. I decide to go ahead and keep this. So I will move this good up to 1 and then this good up to 2, which is going to give me 3. And if I were to have, say, more goods, I would just move this, then this, then this. That's the order it would go. And now I have also 3 workers. So what I'm going to do is I can go ahead and keep these. And then let's just say I decide I'm going to go ahead and use these 3 workers to build this monument, this pyramid. I would go ahead and cross all these off, and then I would just simply circle the 1 to count towards my points. The other thing I have to do is I have to resolve my food. I have 3 food and 3 cities, so I'm going to go ahead and move that down to 0. So I have to be sure that I get food on my next turn. So let's say my opponent goes ahead and rolls, and he has 6 workers and a coin, which counts as 7 points. So let's say he decides he's going to keep the coin, and he rolls again, and he has gotten 2 more coins, so he has 21 points. So let's just say he decides he's going to go ahead and keep these coins and build a development over here. He says, okay, I'm going to go ahead and build the coinage over here. Since he has 21 coins, he'll go ahead and cross this off. And throughout the rest of the game, his coin die results are going to be worth 12 as opposed to 7. And so that will end his turn. He did not get any goods. And then he's also going to have to resolve these food things here too. So I'll go ahead and roll again. And I have to try to see if I can get some food, because I don't have any. I've got a couple goods, but I need to get some food. Okay, so I've got 2 skull tokens that I've got to keep here. And this will give me some goods, and I got 1 more roll, and I got 3. Wow. Okay. So in this case, I'll have gotten 6 goods. So I'll go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's good. Unfortunately, I've got 3 skulls, and 3 skulls basically means, and actually 3 skulls is actually good. This is going to count pestilence against my opponent. So he's going to have to mark 3 points off on his disasters page right here, which is eventually going to count against him. Now, typically, it's not going to count against your opponent. It's going to count against you, but I got lucky over here. So now I'm going to go ahead and look, and of course, I can't feed anybody, so I'm going to have to mark 3 off on my disasters over here since I can't feed any of my people. But now I can go ahead and decide if I want to go. Now I can go ahead and see if I want to buy something over here to help me. I got 24 points. So let's just go ahead and say I decide I'm going to go ahead and buy the caravan over here for 20. So I'll go ahead and let's just say I take 5, then that's 9, and then this is 14, and then this is 20. So I'll go ahead and call the caravan. This says no need to discard goods. So in this case, I'll be able to actually keep it over 6. And the game is basically going to continue on like this. And the game is going to end once somebody ends up building their 5th monument over here. Or if each of the monuments has been built at least once by any of the players in the game. And what's going to happen is you're going to go ahead and count up your points in your developments and then your monuments. Any bonuses that you get, you'll go ahead and count those. That would be these. Then you will go ahead and subtract your disasters and total it up. And the winner of the game is going to be the one that has the most points. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you play Roll Through the Ages, the Bronze Age.